Our next speaker is a security architect in Guardicore, Mr. Marc Lainez. With more than 15 years of expertise, he handles the APAC region. Prior to this role, Mr. Lainez held various technical and leadership positions in some of the top global cybersecurity companies with portfolios ranging from endpoint, network, data center, and cloud security. He also holds notable industry certifications such as CISSP, GCIH, and CCISO. Let's learn more about this from our next speaker, Mr. Marc Lainez.
When firewalls were first established, they were game changers that provided perimeter security and control for simpler IT environments. Today, perimeter-only security isn't enough. As technology has evolved and the threat landscape has expanded, legacy firewalls remain tied to specific environments and networks. Regardless of the walls you build around your data center, threats will get through, which means segmentation is more important than ever. Guardicore was built to make segmentation simple, affordable, and fast, allowing you to achieve a higher level of security with no downtime. We start with your existing network and then apply a software-defined overlay that is easy to visualize and change and works consistently across all types of environments and technologies. Here's how we solve major segmentation challenges. We provide context-rich visibility into application dependencies and traffic, on-prem, in the cloud, platform as a service, and more under one single pane of glass. This visibility allows you to easily identify segments, group views, identify dependencies between applications, and plan your segmentation fast without errors, based on real data and not assumptions. We provide one infrastructure-agnostic tool to manage your policy across all your environments. A single policy that is applied anywhere, on-prem and in the cloud. There is no need to change the network. So virtual local area networks, private cloud networks, and assets require no changes. There is less need for cross-team dependencies and coordination as no infrastructure changes are needed. There's no downtime, preventing the need for businesses to work during off hours, enabling you to progress the project faster and with no risk to the business. Our solution is flexible and ready to take on current and future environments. And our REST API and automation recipes allow for integration into DevOps and automation frameworks to ensure continuous, robust policies. While firewalls can continue to protect your perimeter, Guardicore can give you total coverage and greater security of your east-west traffic in your data centers. Transform your operations to the next stage of firewall protection.
Hi everyone, in this session, join me as I give you an overview of microsegmentation, what it is and why it is a key strategy for stopping ransomware effectively, securing critical assets using zero trust principles, and simplifying compliance. Finally, I'll be sharing some ideas how you can get started in your zero trust segmentation journey. My name is Marc Lainez. I'm a security architect for APAC in Guardicore. Let's get started. Before we jump into the meat of this session, let's think for a minute about why segmentation is important. It's not a new concept at all. In fact, shipbuilders have been doing it for centuries. The basic idea, prevent a single breach of the hull from sinking the entire ship. Guardicore does the same for your data center and cloud infrastructure. Now, 10 years ago, segmentation as an enterprise security strategy was proposed and popularized by Zero Trust. Zero Trust states that organizations must shift their focus from perimeter security to start addressing lateral movement within your network by doing microsegmentation and granular enforcement. In other words, we need to remove the default implicit trust we automatically give to everything in our network and start assuming that they might be compromised. With that assume breach mindset, you can then re-architect your security from inside out. When was Zero Trust developed again? It's been a decade, right? So aren't you curious to know why today we are not seeing many organizations successfully implemented it? Well, that was the reason we conducted our own survey recently with Ponemon Institute. The results are not so encouraging, but insightful nonetheless. About 43% of organizations said they are interested in implementing Zero Trust, but only 26% have really started implementing it. What is holding them back? Personally, coming from a top firewall vendor for many years, I'm not surprised that 63% say legacy firewalls do not enable them to achieve Zero Trust segmentation across the enterprise. Therefore, we need a new and better approach. The encouraging part is that cybersecurity leaders from public and private organizations globally are calling to take Zero Trust more seriously and with urgency. Enter Guardicore. So who we are and how are we solving the persisting challenge that we just described? Guardicore was founded in Israel back in 2013 with a simple mission to provide the most intuitive solution to protect your critical assets through Zero Trust segmentation. We have a great vision and culture and have received many recognitions for being one of the best cybersecurity company to work for. We are heavily invested in growing our technology ecosystem to bring the most value out of our solution. We have headquarters in Tel Aviv, Israel, Boston, USA, and now actively expanding in APAC. We have close to 300 customers globally from various industries, as you can see below. But the best part is the solid validation from our customers who gave us an excellent Net Promoter Score of 71, way above the average of 50 among tech companies. Like I said, we offer a new approach that is to rethink the role of the firewalls in your enterprise security strategy. First, let's talk about the old approach. We believe that network firewalls has become the necessary evil in the modern IT by effectively becoming a choke point, which simply means every traffic that you want to be inspected, which is all, needs to find its way to the firewall through clever switching and routing. In this classic two-tier firewall arrangement on the left side, to do microsegmentation, you have to forcefully redirect all internal server-to-server, apps-to-apps traffic up to the internal firewall and back down to each and every time. Not practical at all. How about virtual firewalls in every hypervisor? Well, it can create smaller segments within the supported cluster. But another challenge will arise. It won't scale and extend well in a dynamic hybrid and multi-cloud environments. To summarize the shortcomings of the old approach, network-based firewalls will always be tied to specific environments and networks. Because of that, working with security policies takes too much time and effort with all validations and approvals needed from many different teams involved. To do microsegmentation, you need different and unorthodox approaches to different environments and technologies. For example, VLANs for bare metals, security groups in cloud, pods and namespaces in containers and DevOps. Now, imagine if you could replace this with a much simpler and dynamic approach, one that uses a distributed software-based approach to get deep visibility on the applications down to the process level. With that, security policies will follow the workloads wherever they go. And to do microsegmentation, it uses labels to give your applications much needed business context and agility. Our solution is called Guardicore Centra. And these are some of the segmentation requirements and use cases that we hear from our customers. Let me highlight the popular ones. East-west traffic visibility is obviously at the top, aligning to Zero Trust model. environment segmentation. If you want to separate your production servers, development, and DMZ, basic, but very challenging in hybrid environments, and of course, compliance. Another one is ring fencing, where you can put a logical fence to applications and then whitelisting all valid communication, flows, and dependencies in and out. For example, the classic load balancer to web server, allow. Web server to database, allow. But load balancer to database, block. A variation of ring fencing is microsegmentation. This is when you include process-level policies. To build on my example, you can say the Nginx process with hash value 1234 on my web server can only talk to the MongoDB process with hash ABCD in my database. That's pretty powerful use case for truly critical mission applications. Well, that's about it for the company and solution overview. Now, let's talk about how granular segmentation capability can effectively stop ransomware at every stage. Okay, in this quick rundown, we are just going to scratch the surface using Gartner's widely accepted guidance. Hopefully, this will give you a feel for how Guardicore Centra will help you achieve many different facets of preventing, detecting, responding to, and recovering from a ransomware. And the best part is that if you excel at segmentation, it will help you be prepared from other types of security threats, such as technology supply chain attacks. Anyway, instead of explaining all the mappings that you can see here, I've decided to show it instead. Let me play a quick 3-minute video for you.
Now, the first thing you want to do when preparing to prevent a ransomware attack is start implementing security policies to control the ways ransomware attacks propagate inside of your network. One of those ways is by limiting the use of remote access services, such as SSH and remote desktop. You can see here, we have one rule that limits use of these services to only server administrators who need these services to do their job, and prevents any other user from having their compromised credentials used for propagating laterally throughout the environment. Other security policies you can put in place are limiting access to vulnerable public-facing web services, or, like we have here, eliminating any traffic between end-user systems. This helps reduce the risk of an attacker getting a large foothold over your environment by moving laterally before they execute the ransomware. In many cases, eliminating this potential for lateral movement can actually help detect the breach as well. Next, we want to limit the exposure of our critical applications to the rest of the environment by ring fencing them. One application that is crucial to protecting during a ransomware attack is Active Directory. Guardicore offers a policy template in our policy store, which allows you to segment your Active Directory servers so that only ports and services that are exposed are the ones necessary for Active Directory. So far, we've done a lot to protect ourselves using just a few simple rules. Now let's talk about the worst case scenario. An end user clicks on that link and suddenly you're under attack and everything goes into incident response mode. Guardicore offers you a way to detect the attack using the Guardicore Reputation Analysis Service. We can see here that we've detected the presence of a piece of malware and it's attempting to call home for further instructions. When I do a little research on this executable, I find out that it's a Trojan that often leads to the installation and spread of ransomware. The first thing I want to do in this situation is actually cut off access to my file servers to prevent the threat of encryption. Guardicore can do this using one of our 3 ransomware templates. With just a few clicks, we've cut off access to our file servers and taken action to handle the immediate threat. You can implement the same concept for database servers, backup servers, and other critical parts of the environment that you need to cut off access to quickly. Now, we need to detect the spread of the malware. What I'm going to do is generate a map of all instances where we've seen the malware running within the environment. Guardicore Reveal Maps offer organizations a way to build visual representations of their environment, storing data historically for forensic analysis during incident response. Fortunately, it's only on a few systems. so we still have time to prevent the spread of the malware. Now, I'm going to put a rule in place to block the malware from spreading elsewhere. Since Guardicore can control communication flows down to the process level, we can easily implement a single rule to prevent the spread of the malware throughout the environment. At this point, we've successfully mitigated the breach and contained it. Pretty soon, we're back to business as usual.
Well, I hope you appreciate that practical yet punchy demo. That's how we deal with ransomware. Straightforward with few simple rules. If you'd like to see more of that, you can check our YouTube channel. Okay, now, let's discuss how we can secure your critical assets using Zero Trust principles. First, we acknowledge that there is no single security vendor that can address every aspect of Forrester's framework. However, when you follow their blueprint, you can clearly see how Guardicore Centra can serve as the centerpiece of your Zero Trust architecture. Let me show you. Step 1, identify your sensitive data. Our agent-based approach allows us not just to collect rich data, but also to provide advanced visibility to quickly identify and locate your digital crown jewels. Step 2, map the flows of the sensitive data. Here, we are taking it to another level. Our agents can automatically learn and map all the communication flows to and from the applications. In addition, we use intelligent labeling to show business context about app dependencies and its relationship to other assets. Step 3, architect your microperimeters. This is where the magic begins. The combination of the flexible labeling and AI-guided policy engine that we have, you can create granular segmentation strategy based on environment, by application roles, by operating systems, or even by risk levels. Your imagination is the limit. Step 4, continuously monitor your Zero Trust posture. Our solution offers more than just segmentation. Our threat detection and prevention capabilities allow you to alert and prevent security incidents, and at the same time, monitor the efficacy of your Zero Trust policies if they need fine-tuning. Finally, step 5, automate and orchestrate. Guardicore Centra is an automation-ready solution with the availability of our REST APIs. We can also integrate with enterprise IT tools and security orchestrators like user directories. Zero Trust segmentation is a reality to many of our customers. And we use that same 5-step methodology in our real-world implementations. Guardicore Centra platform is flexible to whatever segmentation level and use cases your business require. On a practical level, you can start with a small goal, such as separate my production systems from development systems. And then work your way to application ring fencing. And then eventually to full microsegmentation, locking down your digital crown jewels down to the process level. Next up, compliance. Not a crowd favorite task, but you can't get away with it. Here are the common compliance requirements we can help you with. First, limiting the scope of the regulated environment. We all know reducing the scope of regulated environments means less work overall. However, traditional separation techniques using VLANs and zones, for example, will not work in cloud and containers. In contrast, an overlay segmentation will allow a much faster and simpler approach for creating and validating separation status, agnostic of the infrastructure layer. Secondly, reducing costs of network segmentation. Network segmentation and restricting access control are fundamental parts of many regulations, but they are also one of the most complex to implement. Whether it is environment separation, application ring fencing, or restricting access of administrative ports. Our software-based approach can achieve all that without the need to change networks. leading to a business downtime. We can achieve it in a fraction of time and cost. And by the way, our agent installation requires no reboot at all. Thirdly, simplifying work from everywhere compliance. With software-based approach, the whole process can be done remotely without touching any physical equipment, switches, routers, firewalls, making it significantly simpler to operate and deploy in situations where the staff and auditors are working remotely. Let's look at this case study for a minute. One of our clients, a large global clothing retailer, was shifting their business model to online and required fast-paced innovation in the services that they provide to be competitive. For the applications team to address those requirements, it meant using cloud technologies. From a security perspective, though, this meant that their infrastructure suddenly became hybrid. As this shift happened, many of the regulated applications, PCI in particular, moved from fully compliant enclaves to being partially compliant due to migration to the cloud. The project was to protect 30 PCI compliant applications that are spread across 5 different infrastructures. This challenge was too much for the security team. Enter Guardicore. We helped them achieve the compliance across hybrid environment with one single platform where policy is managed from one location and in a completely infrastructure agnostic manner. So a change in infrastructure now does not require any security reconfiguration. All of 30 applications have been ring-fenced and fully integrated with their DevOps tools and orchestrators. Our threat detection capabilities, such as malware detection and file integrity monitoring, both required by PCI, by the way, introduced an additional ROI for the customer. In summary, the project was completed within 2 months with the involvement of just one professional service engineer. Wow, we covered a lot in such a short period of time. So before we end, allow me to propose some action items to get you started. We are more than happy to assist you in validating your organizational risks and needs so you can develop the right segmentation strategies and priorities. We have tools that you can leverage for creating a strong business case. First, the attack surface reduction report. How does it work? Simple. You choose a candidate critical application where we can install our agent or run a script to gather some environmental metadata. We will then run it through our proprietary risk modeling to quantify the risk reduction before and after segmentation. And of course, you'll receive a nice report that includes a concise analysis of your attack surface and the risks that come with it. We promise you, it will be a great eye-opener about how a simple segmentation initiative can reduce your attack surface by over 90%, as we have seen in our customers. Still in the topic of tools that we can help you get started, please meet Infection Monkey, or simply Monkey. Monkey was developed and maintained by Guardicore as an open source breach and attack simulation platform that can help you validate your existing controls by safely simulating how attackers might exploit your internal network security gaps. You can download it for free, yes, free, and conduct your own automated ransomware readiness tests, zero trust assessment, or you can go a little crazy and creative with its wide catalog of attack simulation techniques. Monkey has gained a reputation to become one of the top Swiss Army tools for CISOs and security practitioners globally. Not just because it is free, but because of its actionable report with findings, recommendations, and zero trust insights. Perfect for your segmentation business case justification. Well, that's about it. Thank you for your time, and please do reach out to us if you have any questions about Guardicore Centra or Zero Trust segmentation.